It is the issue that has just dominated the session this year for state lawmakers. Of course, we're talking about property tax relief, and it was back in front of them today, this time in the House.
I mean, we're hearing so much conversation about this, and it comes on the heels of an announcement last week of the latest version of the bill that's being proposed. 13 News State House reporter Emily Longnecker is here with the debate today. Emily?
Lawmakers on the House Ways and Means Committee got a look today at the latest version of property tax relief for homeowners from lawmakers in the House. This version proposes saving homeowners $1.1 billion over the next 3 years. Under this latest version of property tax relief, a majority of Hoosiers will pay less in property taxes next year than this year, with property tax credits up to $200 for all Hoosiers, with an even greater amount for seniors and disabled veterans. A fiscal note showing how much local governments and schools could be impacted by the current proposal wasn't yet available to lawmakers who heard the bill's details Monday. That wasn't a problem for some lawmakers.
We can argue about the details, and we are, but this bill saves Hoosier homeowners $1.1 billion over 3 years.
But if the devil's in the details, Danville's fire chief needs to know more. What he knows so far has him worried.
We're not asking for a lot. We're asking to be responsible. This is a matter of life and death.
Duncan says a cap on what fire territories could receive from property taxes will impact next year's budget and expansion for the department.
I'm going to have to close Firehouse.
The proposal also reforms the property tax system over the long term, giving local governments the ability to raise local income taxes or LIT to fund services and decide how much each service gets. Avon's fire chief says that's going to require a lot of education.
The county isn't ready to take over fire service or take over the budgeting for fire service and decide who gets lit.
Local governments weren't the only ones expressing concerns about the proposal. These parents say adding language to SB 1 that would require public schools to share money from referenda with charter schools is also a problem.
But at the end of the day, they're only saving $200 a year. And the local schools are losing so much more money, millions.
House Democrats shared similar concerns, including that the latest proposal does not include any amendments their caucus suggested, like a $5,000 deduction for renters and a $25,000 down payment assistance for young homebuyers.
The supermajority needs to understand we have constituents also. We're part of this state.
Some Democrats even questioned if the proposal really saved homeowners enough money, enough to satisfy Governor Braun.
If I were the governor, would I like this bill? I think not so much.
And we know Governor Braun has said he's not afraid to veto this bill if the version that lawmakers sends him is a version that he does not like. He has also said he'd be willing to call a special session to get to some kind of solution for property tax relief. There's still about 3 weeks to go in this legislative session, so still a long time to go before we see what this latest, the last version of SB 1 will look like. It did pass out of the House Ways and Means Committee today with no Democrats voting for it. At the Indiana State House, Emily Longnecker, 13 News.